is saying they're disloyal to Judaism. It sort of depends what he is talking about there to determine whether he is actually engaging in an anti-Semitic trope. Are they being disloyal to Trump? Do they owe Trump their loyalty because Trump is pro-Israel, which goes back to a loyalty smear that so many Democrats have engaged in over the years? So the non-clarity of what he's saying is a problem. And I think that we do have to break this down, because there is a way to read the statement that is not anti-Semitic, and then there are ways to read the statement that are anti-Semitic, or at least engage in anti-Semitic tropes. So, gotta break this down in a little bit of detail here, so stick with me. I know, we've had a lot of Jew talk lately. That's not my fault, okay? That is just because there are a lot of anti-Semites out there lately, and then the president decided to make this the top issue of the day. So, let's begin with a simple fact. When people reference Jews very often, they're not clear about what they're talking. So, are they referencing ethnic Jews, like people who are born into a Jewish family?
I don't understand this, where they're trying to cram this.
Quite the same thing. So
see, the thing is, I know Trump's getting pushed into a lot of shit. And because of some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, it's either he's pushing it because he wants to, or he believes in it, or he's getting pushed. And this thing about trying to push onto the American people that we should be, allegiance, or have allegiance to Israel, or whatever, all this stuff. Dude, I'm going to tell you something, man. We don't need allegiance to anybody. Alright, because quite honestly, none of those countries or none of those peoples give a goddamn shit about our personal liberties and our personal freedoms and our rights. They don't give a damn. So, giving them money and resources and all this other stuff, and promises and blah blah blah. This is the corporation posing as our government, working out deals in our name. Alright? And it's not necessarily just the president. It's all these bureaucrats that don't get elected, that are been there for 40, 30, 40, 50 years. And they make their career and they're living off of us. Off all of us. That work and labor. Actually, they're siphoning our labor out of us. Just another labor force, kind of like the chain gang. Which is that we're not wearing striped suits and wearing chains and balls and shit. We're allowed to roam around in this big prison with no fences. It's all in our head. The prison is inside our head. They've created a structure, a wall system, where you only have these choices and there's no other choice other than those, and you have to pick those choices they provide, for instance. We need to do something about this, people. And I know some of you actually agree in some ways, or at least I hope you're thinking about it. Because quite honestly, it's a big problem where the military-industrial complex, they thrive on conflict, and they make their money off of conflict. That's why there is so many wars out there in foreign countries, and putting our guys and gals out there and fighting for the corporation, because it ain't for us. It ain't fighting for us. I mean, honestly, if the military and all them were actually fighting for the people and defending and upholding the Constitution, they wouldn't be over there in other countries fighting whatever the fuck it is. They'd be here at home defending the people. And And that goes for anything foreign and domestic. Now, right now, we have domestic problems that need to be pretty much eliminated from the populace. In my opinion, it just needs to stop. It needs to stop. All of it needs to stop. Because we the people, we know we're just flesh and blood humans. We're not property. This straw man that the government has created, and they try to make us all think that we are this fictitious corporation they created, and they have jurisdiction over us, and they can just make up whatever they want, and we have to follow these rules, these statutes, these codes, these policies with no question, or there is physical harm, if not death, if you do not comply. It's a big problem. And these red flag laws is another big problem, because I see that as a stepping stone for them to make up whatever they want to make up, because it's based on their decisions and what they think is the problems, and blah blah blah. And I'm talking about law enforcement and whatever else above them, and blah blah blah. If they make a decision that you're a problem, next thing you know, you're gonna have a fucking SWAT team at your house at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And if you resist and protect yourself and protect your home that is your God-given right to do so, you will be killed. And they will justify it by some, they'll like spin the story to, well, we went in there to serve a warrant, and they won't say what kind of warrant, and if they do, they will say because they thought that he was dangerous. We had a tip. And when we went, he had a gun, so we had to kill him. Well, see, the thing is like it's if we I've heard this before, and it's kind of the same thing. It reminds me of, if we do not unite and band together, basically, they'll kill all of us separately. And that's the red flag law foot in the door, in my opinion, is to try and go after everybody one by one, here and there. So it's not like a massive thing, I really don't know when it's going to be to where they just say fuck it and they go down the streets and stuff like that and start going house to house and stuff, like door to door. I'm curious when that'll happen, because I can see that happening too, because I can see them getting to that point where they just say fuck it, the fuck it scenario, because everybody's got that fuck it scenario, and I know they do, because they think they have the jurisdiction to do whatever they want to do, because they have the willingness to kill us all off if we don't comply. Now, that's why I call upon all the military and police officers out there, and anything in between, and all the alphabet fucking agencies out there, all that stuff, everything that works for government. Now, you can be part of the problem, or you can be part of the solution. The solution will help yourself and others to be free people again. Free from tyranny, free from that constant threat hanging over everybody's head, where if you don't do this and you can't do that and this is that and blah blah blah, if you got that, this, that, you know, you could be fined or put in prison just for that, and just, hell, you don't breathe right, you know, it could probably land you in prison. I mean, without that constant threat of some third party that's you always have to have permission from or get a license from or something like that is gone. That's the solution. Now the problem will try to cultivate that constant threat, where it's even more and even harder to get rid of. Because I see it kind of like as like a disease. I see that crap as like a disease, and you have to catch it before it spreads, and it's trying to spread right now. It's kind of like, you know, those mites that kill like a lot of trees and stuff like that, or, you know, that it kind of reminds me of that. You have to catch it before it spreads to the rest of the forest. And right now I can see patches out there getting infected, and it's already dying. I can see it. If you look at it, everybody as a whole, which some people look as everybody as a whole is, they quote unquote society or whatever you want to fucking call it. See, the thing is, man, we're just all people, and we're all living on this land, this physical, you know, land that we're all standing on. And I'm sitting right now looking out of my kind of hazy window at the rain and lightning and thunder and stuff like that. So everybody that's where they are, we're all connected, all right? You know, not only in the physical realm, and we're also connected in the spiritual realm and all that other stuff. And everybody's got their own beliefs on what things are what or whatever. But that cliche, it's a small world, it is, because it, you know, especially if you get out of that little bubble that you're in, you know, it's quite small. I mean, it's a vast, big, huge place, but it can be very small, because it's especially now, and with the ability to talk to people across the planet and at real time. I mean, even CBs and stuff like that. And I'm kind of at Mother Nature's mercy, or, you know, the propagation when it comes down to the weather, you know, how the signal travels through the ionosphere and all that other stuff now. And well, anyway, so even that's getting messed around with weather modifications and stuff like that. I mean, seriously, you know, if you even doubt anything about weather modification, that's even existing or anything like that, it doesn't exist. Yeah, just for shits and giggles, Google it. Google how many. Just Google how many companies that provide weather modification or cloud seeding, as it's called, or anything like that, as a service or a product. Boom. Just Google it. Because I'm going to tell you something, there's going to be a lot of companies that come up, and you can, if you had the money, which a lot of governments do, if you have the money, you could fucking get companies that provide weather modification as a service. It's pretty crazy, you know, because, I mean, and that's another thing too, if you know anything about like the butterfly effect. I mean, let's say some guy over in, like, I don't know, out there in the desert in Arabia or India, or I don't care, is way the hell over there, decides they want to like do some weather modification and make it rain out there in the damn desert. Well, I'm sure that's going to affect the damn whole system and stuff that, and next thing you know, something on the opposite side of the planet is getting affected because of that crap that they pulled over here in the desert over in Arabia or wherever, for instance, or some of the shit that they might be doing here in this country, where they're doing a lot of stuff and they're affecting the weather and stuff like that out toward California, but down the line over here in the East Coast, they're fucking with us, with hurricanes and all this other shit. Because I really think that they were fucking around with that damn Hurricane Michael. That was pretty freaking serious. And I've lived in Florida most of my life. I mean, I grew up in Orlando. I mean, I know I've been through a lot of hurricanes through my life in this damn state. I'm going to tell you something. And that was pretty bad. And it was just crazy how that thing just popped up into a damn Category 5 and like within a day or two. It's like it was a tropical storm out there in the damn Gulf, and then boom, Category 5. By God, Wingnut Radio was live on the air through the whole thing, and which my antenna is still kind of leaning to the left, but a lot of guys lost their stuff, lost their houses. A lot of people out there lost their houses, and even the places they worked at is gone. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's even now. I mean, this is getting close to a year, I guess. Gosh, I can't remember how long it's been now. What, it's 9 months? 8, 9 months, something like that. You ought to see it. I mean, seriously. Panama City, and that's another thing, too. Even when the president, even when the president he came here and stuff like that, the only thing he really talked about was just rebuilding Tyndall, the Air Force Base, Tyndall Air Force Base. That's about all he really talked about. I was like, what the fuck, man? There's a lot of places around Tyndall, and Tyndall doesn't make Panama City. The people make Panama City. Tyndall just happens to, they might bring some money in, and it's a military base. I mean, it's not, they don't create private sector jobs. They don't create anything like that. The only, that's how, most of this area is kind of touristy anyway, so it's all service industry anyway, a lot of it. And there's not really a whole lot that Tyndall, it's not the town. I mean, even Panama City itself, needs help. Callaway, Fountain. I mean, there's a lot of places up north of Lynn Haven and all that stuff. Man, that got smashed. I mean, telling you, they're just like freaking flattened or like damaged a lot. And it's still, it's going to take a long time because, people ain't got no damn money because they're getting taxed to death. They're they can't. And not only that, they're not making any money, period, because money doesn't exist in this system. We have fiat currency. True money is gold and silver. That's the true currency, and that's exactly what we're only allowed to use in this damn country. But they stole it from us, the government, this corporation that went bankrupt, and they're using us and our labor as collateral. They put us in our private property for collateral without any of us consenting to it, for one, and then two, they're just assuming that they have authority and a higher claim over you and your property. I mean, seriously, they assume think about it. There is some thing that only exists on paper that thinks that it has a higher claim over you and your property. And then if you go against that, it will send guys with guns or gals and take it from you. And if you resist, they could probably kill you because they think that they have the authority to do so, or the jurisdiction, or whatever. A lot of it is because they've tricked us over the years, I mean, nobody has private property anymore. I mean, honestly, man, it would be, I bet you can go down to the damn property appraiser's office or anything like that and ask if there's anything in that county that is classified as private property. Not residential, not like homestead, not any of this other stuff. Private property. Try and see if there's anything that's actually classified as private property. I'd be greatly surprised if there is. If you actually, I mean seriously, if you happen to know the property appraiser or whatever, ask them. Is there anything listed inside that county as private property? Because they're trying to do away with that. Because private property, you cannot tax it. You cannot actually, you don't have any authority to put any kind of law enforcement on that property or anything like that, because it is private property. Now all this other shit like residential or farm or homestead or whatever, agriculture or whatever, this is all classifications of what do you call it, it's part of the monetary system, where it's all commercial in a sense or whatever. It's under the falls under UCC codes and stuff like that because it's commercial. It's not like private property is not commercial because it's not there to make money, and everything else is they try to classify it so it could be under that classification or under that legal classification of commercial, so they can. They think that now that if that's under that they have jurisdiction and they can come onto your property or whatever, what I mean, that kind of thing, whatever. That's why there's no such thing as private property anymore, and that's against our constitutional rights. It's all of it, man. If you start going down the line, just even the first 10 or even in the Article of Confederation or something like that, I'm telling you, man, if you just go through the line and go through each one of those, they anticipated this shit. They anticipated the government will get corrupt, and this is what they're going to try and do, and they anticipated it. That's why they had it wrote down. And well, they fooled us all. Well, not all of us. Not all of us are. Some of us kind of had a gut feeling all our lives, and then some of us, all of a sudden, just kind of like if something clicked, and then some of us don't even don't want to see it. They just want to hide and keep the blinders on. I'm telling you, man, it drives me nuts when people are like, I don't believe it. Well, I don't care if you don't believe it. Truth is truth. Truth is not always just all pretty rainbows and fucking unicorns and shit. Truth can be very nasty and ugly, but truth doesn't give a flying fuck if you believe it or not, because it's going to remain truth. It's going to remain facts. And it doesn't give a flying fuck if you believe it, and it doesn't give a flying fuck if you actually want to accept that as reality or whatever. It doesn't care. So what are we going to do? I don't think anybody should say anything about what they're going to do, honestly. I think the people that want to destroy all of us and our way of life and the moral fabric of this country and stuff like that, when it comes down to being an American, they're already declared war on us. They just haven't announced it the traditional way of we're going to war. They haven't done that. They've just done it more covertly, and they've already started. They've already fired the first shot already, and a lot of people still don't believe it. But it's happening. It's already happening, and it's been preparing. Dude, I'm just telling. I'll tell you this right now. People, you need to wake up. The Matrix has you. Well, in lack of better words. And for one, just make sure you got a lot of water, food, medication, a way to protect yourself, and kind of on hand, and that'll last you for a little while, for a while anyway. I mean, because it could be a while, because I can see this happening. These people, they're not normal people, man. These people, their willingness to kill us all off, to to hold on to their control and power, are not going to stop. And it's a good possibility, because they've been actually doing all these test runs in different countries and stuff about like turning off the power and seeing how the people react. They're already doing a bunch of these test runs before they do it here in this country, and they're going to do it in this country too. And that's the point where you need to, make sure you're at least aware it's going to happen, because they're planning on doing this. That's why they're doing all these tests and maneuvers and all this other stuff, man, when it comes down to training and blah blah blah, because it's going to happen. They've already decided it's going to happen, because they want to maintain control. Well, like I said before, when they unleash the chaos, is what they're going to do, because it's cause and effect, and then also it's the cause, cause reaction solution, or the effect, the cause reaction solution scenario, where they're going to cause the chaos, try to get the public's reaction for the government to do something about it, and the government come in with this pre-planned solution on how to make everybody safer. Well, this chaos, they cannot control, and they think that they can control whatever's left behind after the chaos is manageable. They think chaos will just kind of burn itself out, and then they'll come in and take over what's left over, and continue to maintain control. Well, the chaos is what's going to kill them. The chaos is going to backfire on them. The chaos is actually going to envelop them. It's going to turn on them. That chaos will turn on them, because they can't control it, and the chaos has got a mind of its own.